Hello, model railroaders. John back with the 16 by 8 river layout. I haven't put any videos up in about a week and a half. I was out with COVID, and it was basically a worst cold I ever had, basically. So that's why I sound a little nasally probably to you. But anyways, I'm better now, and I just went back to work, so I'm kind of getting back into this too. I literally didn't do anything down here whatsoever since the last video you guys saw. The shorts that I've been putting up are ones I've already had other than the ones I did today. So just to keep the channel cooking a little bit. So now I'm running one of my little ore trains and using my little F unit Genesis. So I just wanted to run something nice and quiet and not run my BLI engines with the sound. So I did get my switch for my sound effects. You can kind of see that right there. It's a little controller there that runs the sounds and everything. I've had it a while. I just hooked it up now yesterday, so that part's running now. So, but getting back to the main deal here, water. That's what I'm going to start working on this side over here. And I also took set the box and bottle here so you guys can really see what it is. That way you can, because I know people were saying they couldn't see it in the pictures, but this is what the products are that I use. I just bought this today from Michael's. And I used a 30% downloadable coupon. You can all get that if you have a Michael's by you. And I saved about $8 and some cents off this thing. I don't remember exactly how many pennies it was, but it was nice to save that. This is going to be enough. What I have here will be enough to do from there all the way around to this part of the river. And I'm going to do it in 2 chunks. I think I mentioned before I was going to put like a little kind of a makeshift beaver dam type deal just to block the water so I don't have to pour so much at one time. Because if you try and pour just up to this spot, you can do that and it'll sit and kind of flow out. Yeah, I'm going to zoom that back out. It'll kind of just flow out and then kind of smooth off into nothing. The problem is when you go to put the next layer on from this side over the top of it, excuse me, what happens is you get a bulge, a bump, and that kind of looks funny. But I realized when I did that on the other side, because I had to do the same thing on the other side too. If you're going to put a water effect on it, like waves or ripples, it doesn't matter. You'll never notice that. So I am still going to do it on this side, but I do plan to put water ripples on a lot of this and some partial waves in some areas. So I think that'll be a lot more realistic. This area, this little tiny river here probably isn't so critical for the ripples because it would be kind of smooth because it's a dead end. You know, it turns into basically a swamp. Over there, I might just put some more cattails in there and some lily pads on this part over here. Excuse me for bumping the camera around, but like here, this whole area here, this is being it's so skinny, it probably wouldn't have a lot of action on it, but you know, I'm still gonna do the ripples on it just because I think I want to keep the whole thing kind of consistent. This is the sad part, is this water here is, except for 1 or 2 little spots, this water is very flawless. And for the most part, all my water came out very nice, except where I got the little canoe. You guys saw that little bump I pointed out, little bump sticking out of the water. And here I got about 2 or 3 of those little bumps. But again, even if I decide to leave this smooth, I wouldn't even still try and fix it. It's good enough the way it is. A lot of times you guys look at water, and there's always, even if it's smooth, there's always some little thing sticking out of it. It could be the end of a stick slightly poking up, just some little floaty thing, whatever. So don't get discouraged if you're pouring it and you get that. It's not a big deal. So, but I will note that when I've done these rivers in the past, and lakes and ponds and whatever, I usually do 2, maybe 3 pours. I'm not going to do that this time, and I'm probably not going to do that anymore, because I wasted a lot of money trying to get these things so flawlessly, absolute glass smooth. It just isn't worth it to me. It's more stress than it is anything else. And plus, with these big pours, I mean, this is, these areas here, they're well over, they're about a 14-inch or 14-ounce cup of that liquid, and that's a lot to manage. I know some of you would probably think it's not, but to me it is. So, and I know I've had a lot of people messaging me, asking me about how difficult it is, because there's a lot of guys who've built big water areas and they haven't poured it yet because they're nervous to do it, and I don't blame them, because you screw it up, it's a mess. And I have screwed it up before, and I screwed it up one time so bad. I shouldn't say screwed it up. The chemicals, just something went bad with the chemicals when I was using Woodland Scenics, and it never really dried. It stayed somewhat slightly tacky, and you can't have that, because if it ever gets dusty, you can't clean it. So I ended up having to cut that out. I tried putting some new stuff over it, and then I had an adverse reaction to it. It was just a mess. So now I switched to this Envirotech product I just showed you, and I have not had that problem since. So, but the one thing just to note, I did mention it in my other videos, always use kind of newer stuff. Don't use something that's more than a year and a half to 2 years old. I did that on this already, and fortunately it worked okay for me, but typically I would start with something that's a year or less, and I just bought this stuff. So, and it's dated, so if you look at it in the bottles, there's a little date in there, or inside the box, whatever. So just always kind of remember that. So other than that, that's really all I've got going. Other than I've been running some of my little engines around, my sound engines. I love doing it, but when I make these videos, I can't run those. They're too noisy. With my new controller, though, I can control the sound a little bit, but I just like to run my little Genesis and Protos, because they're nice and quiet. So, and sometimes I don't want to listen to the noise. I just like to watch them go around quiet when I'm having a cup of coffee, trying to just relax and kind of enjoy that quiet time. Excuse me. So, and while I had my COVID, I did sit in this room a few times and just turn on some of the quiet engines and just kind of watch them go around and having a little cup of coffee that I couldn't taste because I lost my taste. It's back now. But so it is, sometimes that's kind of nice to be able to just enjoy some peace and quiet. So, but anyways, that's where I'm at, and I'm going to, like I say, I'll do some videos on this part here, and you'll see it in little steps. I'm going to do some little build outs of some of the little areas around especially around the bridge pier there. I want to build that out a little bit, so I don't want water right up to it, especially in case I ever wanted to change it out. I wouldn't be able to change it if you put water up to it, because once you pour the epoxy to it, it's stuck there permanently. If you ever want to get that out of there, just keep that in mind in the future. If you ever want to get something out and you've had epoxy around it, you're busting up the layout to get that out, and then probably likely around the base of wherever the water is, it's kind of going to be stuck there permanently. You'd have to take some kind of grinder to get that off. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at. So that's the products, and not the coffee, but that's the products, and that's what I use. So just stay tuned, and I will get some videos out there. And again, as I always say, watch for shorts. I do a lot of shorts. That's kind of now the newest thing I've done, and that's what's kind of kept my channel going. So, and again, just stay tuned for some more. Thanks for watching.